They said back in the day, or back in the days and thousands of years ago, a dynasty in decline is ruled by harem girls, eunuchs, and bureaucrats. We are at the harem girl, eunuch, and bureaucrat phase. And
Harem Girls is a good podcast name. I'm going to write it down.
Actually.
And there's multiple Chinese dynasties where the emperor didn't know when the capital was being destroyed. Taiping Rebellion, the emperor was so drugged out of his mind out of opium. He was a weird guy. This is an interesting story I'm not going to get into. Weird guy. He was living in his harem, drugged out in opium, and he had no comprehension that the war was happening. That happened a couple times in Chinese history.
Wow. Yeah, we're there, man. You've got politicians that are gargling nonsense. I think you make a great point. These people have no capability to understand what other people are thinking. And we see that's very indicative of the left. There's a poll, a survey that I like to cite where it shows moderate voters in the United States get 2/3 of their news from the left and 1/3 from the right. Conservatives get 2/3 from the right, 1/3 from the left. And the liberal and left get 95% from the left. Yep. They are completely isolated and living in this bubble world. So again, I'm going to reference this because it's fresh in my mind. But when I was on Piers earlier, one thing I didn't get to say to Wajahat Ali, he said, "Oh, Trump is ducking the press. He's ducking the media. He's not going on these shows. Kamala Harris is doing the press. She's doing the adversarial media. She's going on the podcasts." And my response was, right, when she was ahead in the polls, she ducked the media and avoided the podcast. Donald Trump was down in the polls, so he did a bunch of press, even adversarial. He went on various corporate press outlets, much to the chagrin of many of supporters, saying, they're going to lie about you. He's gone on the Nelk Boys. He's gone on our show. He's gone on favorable media as well. And now that he's up in the polls and dominating, he's avoiding the press. Much like Kamala Harris didn't want to do a debate at first. Then she did. The polls start shifting, and now it's inverting. Both parties have taken a similar strategy. It is not unique to one side. Now, I can say that because I know that this audience here watching the show is well aware of what Trump has done and what Kamala is now doing and what the strategy there is. But Wajahat, presumably like many of these liberal leftists, consume only MSNBC, CNN, and they're completely unaware of the world around them. They live in a bubble.
I mean, I think that's something that it would be nice if you could convince your liberal friends of. But I feel like the left has and when I say liberal, I mean like more like progressives than liberals. But the left has an emotional reaction about their politics far more than people on the right or even in the center. They believe that the right is evil, which is why you get people saying, "Oh, Trump is Hitler." And now today I've seen people talking about, JD, if Trump dies or if you vote for Trump, you might end up with JD Vance. And the implication is JD Vance is worse than Trump. But I thought Donald Trump was already super Hitler. So figure it out.
With JD Vance, we're up to it's like ultra, giga Hitler.
And at some point, people that are not actually leftists have to start addressing the fact that, wait a minute.
They're going to start quantifying units of Hitler. So they're like, well, Trump is mega Hitler, which means that JD Vance is going to be giga. And then whoever JD Vance picks for his VP, maybe Vivek in the future, will be tera Hitler. Mm-hmm. And then what comes after terabytes?
MAGA Hitler.
Petabytes?
So it's mega Hitler, then MAGA Hitler. MAGA Hitler is the highest level.
Yeah.
There will be no highest because there's always someone next who will be worse.
Yeah, it scales up.
But that's the point. You can only keep the intensity, at a 10 for so long before people start to say, okay, we can't actually respect these opinions because they're just histrionic.
Really. And one of the great innovations that the DNC has not embraced is bringing on a new creative campaign strategist, because right now all of them run the same campaign, and this is true in pretty much every state at every level, which is Republicans are so evil that if you let them anywhere near legislation, they will destroy your lives. And this is true of the state level Republicans, of any Republican governors. Any Democratic strategist is running the same campaign right now, which is why, since Trump is a known quantity, as soon as they announced J.D. Vance was the candidate, they were suddenly like, oh, someone new to fearmonger about. But I've said it before, I just think that the American public is fear exhausted, and especially in the wake of things like, serious hurricanes that leave people devastated. This appeal to fear doesn't work. And so they're not going to get the same compliance that they're used to.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.